Hey man, this man Trae Young has been straight terrorizing, destructing, beating down on the New York Knicks. And then they come back and say, "We gonna pull your hair out, you're balding and you're stupid."
Bitch, I hope the fuck you do. You'll be a dead son of a bitch, I tell you that.
But look, today we're gonna go over what young players have just been destroying the playoffs. And well, yeah, it's starting with Trae Young. So let's get straight into it. I mean, yeah, the stats that Trae Young put up against the Knicks was ridiculous. 29.2 points, 10 assists, shooting 44% from the field and 34% from three. But this man was straight tearing them up, man. He was just being straight disrespectful to him, you know what I mean? But the stats ain't even half the story. Who cares about the stats, bro? The story was fire. Game 1, Trae Young hits the game-winning floater, comes and shushes the New York crowd. And New York's like, man, Julius Randle, this was a fluke game where he was ass. Next game, they do win. And then Reggie Bullock comes on Twitter saying, "We want all the smoke in the A." Nah, you don't, Reggie. I feel like Reggie shot like 25% from three in that stretch of those two games in the A. And they lost both them games. Trae Young was talking his shit. They come back to New York last night when the crowd was getting on their feet and applauding what the New York Knicks have done all year. Trae said, "Fuck that. I'm going to put a little 30-footer in your system." Bow. Just put an extra nail in the coffin, and he bows down to MSG. This man straight disrespectful and all that shit, bro. I love it. This man Trae Young, yeah, he might not be the best playoff player in the planet. He doesn't look that efficient, but look, man, this dude got some cold ass blood, man. This motherfucker be so annoying. Would I want to play his ass? No, because this motherfucker would shush me. He was even saying to the crowd that they spit on him last time they were in MSG, and now he lighting their ass up for 36. That's ridiculous, bro. Trae Young, that just made him 10 times entertaining. I didn't know he was going to come with this energy, but shit, it's the best energy there is. But yeah, let's talk about the storyline. I wouldn't say the Hawks were the complete underdog, but coming into the series, they were low-key underdogs. I even picked the Knicks to win because I said their defense was going to be so amazing that Trae Young would low-key slow down. Well, yeah. That second best defense in the league that the Knicks are, don't matter. That went to a waste. Bogdan Bogdanovic and Trae Young were just tearing them apart with the pick and rolls. I tell you, man, I did not expect this coming. But the Hawks, I mean, I don't see them upsetting the Sixers unless the Sixers have injury problems. But they don't give them a run for their money and maybe take them to 6. Now look though, the storyline is amazing for this. Everyone sees it as New York's first time in the playoffs. They don't know that this is the Hawks' first time in the playoffs in a while too. The Hawks haven't made the playoffs since the Paul Millsap, Jeff Teague, Al Horford era, which was like 2016, right? So they were also coming off a playoff drought, and nobody was talking how they just made the playoffs, and Nate McMillan literally was like 31-12 when he came over as head coach. They also had these doubts in like, oh, Nate McMillan can't coach a playoff series. He's lost every playoff series he's coached. Well, Nate McMillan, he basically ran the Knicks out the gym. Trae Young is an all-world talent, and we know that, but Nate McMillan was a big part of that because he also had these bench players and like Kevin Huerter. He's not a bench player, but he's a role player, and that man was shot creating to the T, man. Same thing with Bogdan Bogdanovic. Those motherfuckers were really going ham on that New York Knicks defense. Okay, let's go to the next young player that is tearing up the league as we speak. This is Ja Morant, man. He really impressed me. I saw him going up against the DPOY and Rudy Gobert, and I saw him up against a very good perimeter defender in Mike Conley, and he says, you know what, I don't care. He says, I'm going to come out in this series and average 30 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds, and shoot 49% from the field. Shooting 49% from the field as a 6'3" point guard against a 7'1" defensive player of the year, that shit just straight impressive. Ja Morant, he got one hell of a future ahead of him. We know his help was terrible this series, obviously, but they did win a game, and they won the first game. They won the first game in Utah, in that atmosphere. That was a big game to win. I didn't think they were going to upset. You know, I knew they kind of weren't. But damn, I had them sweeping this series, and I didn't think Ja Morant was going to play well against his team. But Ja Morant, even changing everybody's expectations, man. This man came out, and he came out on a mission for sure. Not only that, this man did shoot 32% from 3, which is not good, but he was actually hitting threes against his team. You know, it's one thing that he has to implement in his game in the future, but you see it's there. Against the Golden State Warriors, I think he was like 5 of 10 from 3. Like, yeah, that's something he needs to work on, but there's still like flashes of it already being there. You know, not only that, his free throw percentage went up this series too. His efficiency from the whole season went up in this series. That's just something you don't see every day. You don't see this from 21-year-olds that much. You see 21-year-olds being raw and getting torn up in their first series, especially if they're at AC going against the 1 seed. But yeah, Ja Morant, man, this dude, he put the world on notice that he's next up. Now, of course, the last young player we have to talk about is the best young player and young asset in the league, and that is Luka Doncic. This man has straight surprised me. You know, last season they lost in 6 to the Mavericks, and they said, well, maybe if Porzingis is back, they'll win that series. Well, Porzingis is back this year, and to say he's been bad is an understatement. He's fucking trash. He's terrible. He wouldn't start on many teams just because of how bad he's been playing. But guess what? The Mavericks are still winning in this series. I thought that after the Mavericks blew 2 road games in which they could kind of clinch this series because they would go up 3-1, I thought that they were going to lose this series. They still have a chance of losing this series, don't get me wrong, but I thought that in LA, the Clippers were going to come through. And, you know, it's the damn Clippers. They're inconsistent. They don't win big games. I shouldn't put myself in thinking and betting on the Clippers. But this series, Luka Doncic has averaged 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. And he's shooting 48% from the field and 43% from 3. But he's just shooting 43% from the free throw line. This man is literally shooting better from 3 than he is the free throw line. That sucks. I feel like if he made a couple more of those free throws, those games would have been closer in Dallas. But look, this man went on the road last night, won a big pivotal game 5, and put all the chips in Dallas' favor. I know they're going back home, and that hasn't meant anything this series. Every road team has won every single game in this series. But man, he gave him so much momentum, and they looked dead in the water for a little bit. Last game, Luka had a terrible game, the one before this, because, you know, he was hurt, and he comes out, and he was still hurt, and I think he dropped like 40-some points. Yeah, Luka last night dropped 42 points, 14 assists, and 8 rebounds, and he shot 50% from 3 and almost 50% from the field. This man he's quite ridiculous, bro. If you can tell me that Kristaps Porzingis is going to have 8 points, people who thought he was a future superstar in New York, and this motherfucker telling you hit one big shot all game, and Luka's hitting all the big shots. Tim Hardaway had 20 points on 20 shots. He shot 6 for 19 from the field and 3 for 10 from 3. That's his second best player this series, and he's shooting like that, and they still get the win. Luka Doncic is ridiculous, bro. I feel like we need to give him more respect, even though he already has a lot of it. But yeah, y'all, that's the video. Thanks for watching, man. These are the young demons that's coming up in the league, man. They've been really surprising me. But yeah, if you like the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, do all that.
Smoking on this tree, I eat with the cat. It be around me cause I don't trust a soul, yeah. Niggas switching up on they bros, yeah. Changing up for these hoes, yeah. That's why I don't fuck around, ay. Smoking up dope out the zip.